राजकोट में स्टेज सेट है। 10 दिन के ब्रेक के बाद टीम्स वापस आ गए हैं। मैच के एक दिन पहले शाम के 5 बज रहे हैं, तो यहाँ भी स्टेज सेट है। स्वागत है आपका फॉलो द ब्लूज लाइव पर। राजकोट टेस्ट के पहले सवाल काफ़ी है इंडियन टीम के लिए। सरफराज खान और देवदत्त पडिक्कल में से किसको मिलेगा डेब्यू? क्या ध्रुव जुरेल आएंगे टीम में केएस भरत की जगह? रविंद्र जडेजा जब अपने घर पर वापसी करेंगे राजकोट में, तो वो किसकी जगह लेंगे टीम में? इतने सारे सवाल, इतने भारी भरकम सवाल, तो ये जवाब देने के लिए हमारे पास भी हमारी हैवी वेट पैनल तैयार है। एफटीबी इनसाइडर रोहन देशमुख और ईएसपीएन क्रिकेट इन्फो के सीनियर जर्नलिस्ट नागराज गोलापुरी हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं ऑन एफटीबी लाइव। जेंटलमैन, गुड इवनिंग। स्टेज सेट एक टेस्ट मैच के लिए, टेस्ट सीरीज विच हैज बीन सो रिविटिंग ऑलरेडी। रोहन, सबसे पहले आपके पास आएंगे। मैच के एक दिन पहले टीम इंडिया का नेट सेशन क्या हमने आज व्यू किया है?
Well, good evening, Yash. Good afternoon, Nagraj. You're in London. The thing is कि आज राजकोट में जो है सुबह जो है भारतीय टीम का अभ्यास हुआ। एज यूजुअल हमने देखा, जो भी सुना है, शुभमन गिल ने जो है सबसे ज़्यादा वक्त गुजारा है नेट्स पे। उसके बाद जो है देवदत्त पडिक्कल जो आए नहीं थे कल, आज वहाँ पर मैदान पर पहुँचे थे, वहाँ पर वो थे। रजत पाटीदार ने भी अभ्यास किया हुआ है, लेकिन जसप्रीत बुमराह जो है ना, वो कल टीम के साथ जुड़े नहीं थे, आज जो है जुड़े, लेकिन आज उन्होंने अभ्यास नहीं किया। तो 2 दिन जो है जसप्रीत बुमराह ने मैच के पहले अभ्यास नहीं किया। Unusual. I don't remember last time when did he not practice and played a test match. I mean, usually एक सेशन तो वो प्रैक्टिस करने आते ही है, मतलब एटलीस्ट हाफ एन आवर तो गेंदबाजी करते हैं और उसके बाद मैच के लिए आते हैं। इवन इफ इट्स मैच -2 उस दिन आके प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, लेकिन राजकोट टेस्ट मैच के पहले जो है उन्होंने अभ्यास नहीं किया है। Could this be because the way the Rajkot pitch is? I mean, both of you must have seen the pictures of Rajkot wicket, right? जो local language में कहते हैं पाटा wicket है बिल्कुल। और रविंद्र जडेजा ने भी obviously in press conference he said that कि typical Rajkot सपाट और suck the wicket है, which means could there be a lot of runs? Both of you will remember the 2 test matches which happened here where India played and the amount of runs which were scored. And as usual, a typical Rajkot wicket, like he says, कि कभी कभी ये सपाट रहता है, कभी कभी स्पिन को मदद करता है, कभी कभी इसमें 2 दिनों के बाद ही स्पिन दिखती है। तो it feels like it will be like a good wicket, धीरे धीरे जो है टूटेगा और गेंद घूमेगी। So could we see like a big score like we saw in the previous test matches? Is something that we have to look forward to.
जी हाँ, और इनफैक्ट जब इंडिया और इंग्लैंड लास्ट मिले थे राजकोट में 2016 के टेस्ट सीरीज का ओपनिंग गेम था वहाँ पे, विच वाज द ओनली गेम जो इंग्लैंड नहीं हारे थे, एंड दैट वाज अ हाई स्कोरिंग अफेयर। वहाँ पे शतक जड़ा था उनके कप्तान बेन स्टोक्स ने, जो इस राजकोट टेस्ट में भी एक शतक जड़ेंगे। उनका 100 टेस्ट होगा ये वाला। नागराज, ब्रिंगिंग यू इनटू द कॉन्वर्सेशन, इफ इट इज अ हाई स्कोरिंग पिच, इफ इट्स अ फ्लैट पिच विच स्टार्ट्स आउट विथ इनफ इन इट फॉर द बैटर्स, इंडिया के लिए क्या ये परेशानी हो सकती है गिवन द ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ इनएक्सपीरियंस इन दिस बैटिंग लाइनअप?
Can I first take Rowan on? I love that.
100%.
Man, he is such a skeptic, firstly. Like a cynic he's becoming. Day by day. He needs to get to the ground. He's missing it. The joke's apart, but what I want to say is like the point that I wanted to actually bring back before we move on to the India's middle order inexperience is about Jasprit Bumrah. You don't need Jasprit Bumrah to kind of what do you say, worry about it, because he's the player of the match last in Vizag just about a week ago. Bowled 32 odd overs. I was just checking the numbers just to get it right. He's got enough overs on his belt. He doesn't need, what he needed was rest. Remember this, that the talk going immediately after the Vizag test was he wanted to rest for this test match, but from what we know, he was kind of convinced by the selectors that it is better. This is a crucial match, and India would need his experience and his match winning abilities in this crucial game to be there. So in that sense, whether I was told he was going to reach last night, so I'm not sure exactly when he reached. So he's there now, which is the good news, rather than him not being there. At least he doesn't need to worry about visa like Ran Ahmed, etc. So on that front, Bumrah is fine. I don't think India's bowling is an issue. Siraj will be there, I'm pretty sure. Now that brings us to India's inexperience. The wicket, I was talking to some local players from Saurashtra, and what I gathered is and what Jaddu said was in the press conference I heard is that it's going to be a hard pitch to begin with. But the nature of Rajkot pitch has been quite different over the years. In the past, it was the match that we were talking about, especially if we have covered first class cricket in Rajkot, it's like a black soil, which can break and which cannot break sometimes. It depends on what Saurashtra want, whether they want to win or whether Cheteshwar Pujara has to make double and triple hundreds, and including Jaddu. So we think that, the players would think that this will be a slow pitch, will be low bounce, so which means from tomorrow at some point, or second day at some point, it is going to break. So the question is who makes the debut. So I'll let you first answer and then I'll take a guess.
No. Don't reverse the roles. It's my job to ask the questions, yours to answer. Before we move on, Rohan,
guys, we don't have much choices. We have only Sarfaraz who's going to come in, and the question is about the wicketkeeper. Will the team management, give KS Bharat one more chance? Nagaraj, what are you hearing in terms of KS Bharat?
I'm not hearing anything, but it's a difficult choice, boss. I think Sarfaraz is now there. I think if we have to believe what media is reporting, people who are there, I'm sure these people have spoken to insiders, Sarfaraz is going to make the debut. So if Sarfaraz makes the debut, that rules off Padikkal. Also, Padikkal is ruled out only because I feel that he's been brought in as a cover. It's very clear from what I was told also from that KL Rahul is nearly fit, but it was a precautionary measure that he is not going to be playing this test match, so he should be back. So Padikkal will go back, and Padikkal, remember, is a top order batter, so you can't ask him to bat at 5, I doubt. So, and which is Sarfaraz has batted in that role, so Sarfaraz takes that one spot. The other question remains, do you, as you said, KS Bharat or Dhruv Jurel?
I'll give you a minute or two to think about it, Nagaraj, because this is something the world has been weighing in on. Should India consider Dhruv Jurel over KS Bharat? स्काई स्पोर्ट्स के पॉडकास्ट पर यही डिस्कशन चली नासिर हुसैन और माइक एथरडन के बीच, तो सुनते हैं उनकी राय, लेकिन उससे पहले वो ये भी बताएंगे कि जसप्रीत बुमराह खेले ना खेले उन पर उनका क्या सोच है.
It is, and also rumours of Bumrah. There were rumours that he was going to be rested. How would you handle Bumrah, do you think? 3 test matches, they've had a 9-day gap, and then it's back-to-back. Do you think they'll play him here in Rajkot and then rest him? I mean, Bumrah has had such an impact on the series. How would you handle Bumrah? All-format player, playing a lot of cricket.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There were a few rumours in the Indian media that he might not have been in the squad, that he might have been rested for Rajkot. They proved to be unfounded, but there's still a bit of the rumour mill that they're looking to rest him at some point in the series. Rajkot has a reputation of being one of the flatter pitches, doesn't it? Only had a couple of test matches, and I think there've been 9 individual hundreds scored in those 2 tests, quite high-scoring games. I think India got 650 against West Indies. It was a drawn match when England were there in 2017, with 3 England batters getting hundreds. So on that basis, you'd think, well, actually, that's when you want your crackerjack bowler who can open up a game if the conditions are flat. But then there's quite a quick turnaround to Ranchi and then a gap in Dharamshala where you'd think you want probably your seamers to play there. It's a bit cooler up there. So I would have thought favourite is for him to play here in Dharamshala. And depending on how it goes here, then they may look to rest at Ranchi. I don't know.
And a bit of talk about the keeper situation as well, which I find surprising because Bharat's kept well. Is it the runs that they're concerned about?
I think he's kept really well. In fact, I think that's been one of the highlights of the 2 games. The keepers on both teams. Ben Foakes has obviously been outstanding for England, and Bharat, I think, has kept very well for India. But he hasn't got the runs. He did look a bit tentative in that second innings at Visakhapatnam when India were kind of ahead of the game and England had that brilliant third day. and India weren't really assertive, and Bharat was part of that passage of play either side of T, where India just lost their way a little bit. But if you look at his principal game, his glove work has been outstanding.
तो ये थे माइक एथर्टन और नासिर हुसैन के विचार ऑन द स्काई स्पोर्ट्स पॉडकास्ट. चलो रोहन, लेट्स गो स्ट्रेट टू नागराज. अब 2 एक्स्ट्रा मिनट मिल गए आपको डिसीजन अपना लेने के लिए. ध्रुव जुरेल या केएस भरत, किसको खेलना चाहिए?
As a keeper, KS Bharat. As a batter, Dhruv Jurel. So that's the trouble for India. That his batting is what KS Bharat has will lose his spot, I suspect. And why Jurel? Because from all accounts of speaking to Sunil Joshi, who's the UP coach and who's seen him for a while, he says that as a batter, Jurel is solid. The one match, Ranji match he played this season before the England Lions game, he scored 60 odd in company of Rinku Singh, and they rescued. It was a lower order. He bats in around 5, 6, 7, which is the position that he would be batting in if he were to make the debut. The big question for India is, what if his keeping is not up to standards? And you have 3 test matches. Will you then bring in another change? So by that kind of a thought process, I would think Shikhar Bharat might just by the skin of his teeth retain his position. This is my hunch, not like somebody insider thing.
वैसे हमारे दर्शकों को ये खबर दे दूं इन केस दे मिस्ड आउट यस्टरडेज एपिसोड, और ये आपके लिए भी अप्लाई करता है नागराज. विद द टेक्निकल डिफिकल्टीज यू मिस सम ऑफ यस्टरडेज एपिसोड 2 इज दैट कल के अभ्यास में हमने देखा था कि ध्रुव जुरेल was the one practicing with the slip cordon, एक slip cordon जिसमें जयसवाल, सरफराज और पटीदार शामिल थे, if that is any reflection. It's time to look ahead to the batting perspective, and एक बड़ी सवाल जो आती है यहाँ पे रोहन is that आप लिस्ट के बॉटम पे अगर देखें तो उसका नाम है जिसका नाम आप यूजुअली एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे टुवर्ड्स द टॉप. रोहित शर्मा आफ्टर 4 innings हैज़ ओनली 90 runs in this series. रोहन, इस सीरीज़ के पहले जब संजय मंजरेकर हमारे साथ प्रीव्यू कर रहे थे तो उन्होंने कहा था कि विराट कोहली के एब्सेंस में जो रोहित शर्मा पर प्रेशर है दैट इज़ नॉट टू डिसिमिलर टू जो सचिन तेंदुलकर पे होता था एक ज़माने में, लेकिन जो रन्स है, रिटर्न्स है, अभी तक उस हिसाब से मैच नहीं कर रहे.
यार आई थिंक रोहित विल बी obviously worried about his runs, लेकिन मुझे ये लग रहा है कि एज अ कैप्टन ही विल बी थिंकिंग कि बाकी के प्लेयर्स से भी रन्स आ रहे या नहीं आ रहे. इन टर्म्स ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट देयर वर रिपोर्ट्स, कंसिडरिंग दैट एक प्लेयर का फॉर्म नहीं चल रहा है, रन्स नहीं आ रहे हैं, देन एवरीवन इज ऑब्जर्विंग द नेट्स. हम भी जाते हैं, हम भी करते ऑब्जर्व करते हैं. देयर वाज दिस इंटरेस्टिंग ऑब्जर्वेशन विच केम दैट अ नेट बॉलर गॉट रोहित आउट ट्वाइस. आई डोंट थिंक सो ही विल बी बॉदर्ड अबाउट इट. कहीं ना कहीं इट विल बी इंटरेस्टिंग टू नो व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग बिफोर इट. वो किसको डांट रहे थे, कौन से यंगर प्लेयर को डांट रहे थे, उनको सलाह मशवरा उनसे कर रहे थे बिफोर ही वेंट इनटू द नेट्स, बिकॉज इमीडिएटली वेंट इनटू द नेट्स एंड ही गॉट एन इन स्विंगर एंड देन got an outside edge, but that's really nothing to worry about because Rajkot test probably would be one test where he knows he's the senior most player. KL Rahul वापस आ चुके हैं, लेकिन एक inexperienced middle order है. Pressure यार, obviously यार, how are we to even say what kind of pressure is going to be on Rohit, considering everyone is talking about it. Mind goes back to that third T20 against Afghanistan, where Nagaraj said, Rohan, you are really shameless that you said you want Rohit to bat thrice in that T20 game. वहाँ पर भी, if you remember, there was a conversation with the umpire. What he told the umpire, यार already यार 2-0 हो चुके हैं, तूने देखा नहीं क्या वो edge basically bat से गया था. So I'm sure it must be there in the back of his mind, but Rohit being Rohit, I mean, let's just hope यार big flat track wicket है और बैटिंग पहले आ जाए और अच्छा सा स्कोर देखने मिले.
Nagraj, this squad that India now have for these 3 tests, if you look at the third test, if you look at the specialist batting options, there's less than 100 tests of combined experience between them. So it is really time for the hitman to take up, to shoulder that responsibility and carry the batting effort, especially given everything we're hearing about a flat pitch.
Yeah, but It's not like Rohit doesn't know, right? You and me and everyone else can talk about, but Rohit knows it. What is he must be also worried about is that I was looking at the numbers: 13 Test matches, 13 innings, last 13 innings, he has got 150 plus score. Do you remember in either of you two? Remember which was that one? I'll give you a clue. Nagpur. Australia, he scored 120 runs. That was the last time Rohit scored runs, and since then he has struggled to convert his starts. So it is weighing him down. He knows that it's like whether it is the focus, whether it is the choice of the stroke. Like remember the first innings in Hyderabad, the stroke he played, trying to go clear mid on, and then picking a ball from outside off. It's a shot that Rohit has got out. I remember watching him in Ranji Trophy, and he used to kind of, having got a big start, he would just go for that big start at the lunch break or just before the lunch break or just around tea, and he would just curse himself. It's just that sometimes Rohit can possibly himself admit that sometimes he can pick that wrong stroke to play at the wrong time. The other bit is it's so yeah. I mean, he clearly knows that he needs a big score, not just for the team but for himself also, to assure that he is the most senior batsman in the absence of Kohli, KL Rahul. India need him to kind of give a good start. I mean, if Rohit sticks around and India get about 100 odd, that by itself is a good one. It's that also will help India. So yeah, I guess that's the thing. The key question: can Rohit stay there at least for that first hour or till lunch, to whenever he comes into bat? Yeah.
अगर गुड ओमेंस की बात करें तो एक तरफ पिच तो है ही, दैट वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट अ बेटर बैटिंग सरफेस जैसा आप लोगों ने बताया. साथ में एक और अच्छा ओमेन है रोहित के लिए, ये जो पिछले 13-14 मैचेस की जिक्र की नागराज ने, उसमें काफ़ी बार वो आउट हुए हैं टू ऑफ स्पिन. लेकिन इंग्लैंड ने अपना प्लेइंग 11 अनाउंस कर दिया है, और जो पिछले मैच में ऑफ स्पिनर थे शोएब बशीर, ही विल नॉट फीचर. मार्क वुड करेंगे वापसी. मार्क वुड जो पहले टेस्ट में सोल सीमर थे इंग्लैंड के, ही विल नाउ कंबाइन विद जेम्स एंडरसन, एंड ये होगी बॉलिंग लाइनअप इंग्लैंड की. 2 सीमर्स फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन दिस सीरीज. रोहन,
yeah, you're missing the main off spinner, Yash. Joe Root is their main off spinner. So I guess it is okay to rest Shoaib Bashir, but Joe Root to hai. But the fact that Anderson, Wood both coming into the side and Rohit facing up against them, that is one battle I'm really looking forward to, because it's going to be a high pressure thing, boss. Considering
But
that,
look,
as Nagraj just said, runs have not come, and I'm just waiting for that contest, just waiting for the runs to come.
But you took about Joe Root. Joe Root himself is struggling, right, so far with the bat. Though in
Bowling
Vizag, I think he went wicketless.
I am talking about bowling.
No, Vizag, maybe I don't think he was like the off spinner you making him out to be. I mean, he's obviously a very good spin bowler. It's not like I'm saying he's part time, but I think experience sometimes. I don't know what ways. Like Manjrekar is right. I think in a way he has read that. He's saying that maybe Rohit has to overthink. He has said that while standing in the slips, wherever he has been talking, he has been kind of going, losing his voice. He said, right? Or we heard on the stump mic that he's losing his voice, trying to explain, trying to set the fields, trying to bowl to Kuldeep. Yaar, yahan dal. It's like those kind of things kind of weigh you down. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him. So yeah. This is where you realize that I think he needs that support, and yeah.
The one thing we know, Nagraj, is that no Indian in this playing 11, Rohit included, will be walking in the garden in this test match. But we've discussed England's 11. हमारे comments में काफ़ी सवाल आ रहे हैं कि इंडिया का playing 11 क्या होगा. तो आप दोनों को मैं 30 सेकंड दूंगा, ज़्यादा आप डिबेट में नहीं जा सकते कि कौन, क्यों, कब, कैसे. तो रोहन, you first, your playing 11 for Rajkot.
I'll just talk about the spin attack. I think Kuldeep, Jadeja, Ashwin for me. Jurel comes in, obviously, and Sarfaraz comes in. And then obviously KL is here. KL is there as well. Does that leave me with 2 pace bowling options?
No, KL is not there.
Oh, KL is not there. Sorry, KL is not there.
Winning.
That's why Sarfaraz comes in. Sorry, KL is not there.
Correct.
So Sarfaraz comes in. Bumrah and I think Siraj should have 2 pacers to go with.
Nagraj.
Yeah, there's only one change. I think maybe KS will stick Yeah, and Sarfaraz comes in.
And Bumrah,
वैसे
Siraj
changes
will have to.
सिराज भी एक चेंज होगा
I mean,
क्योंकि सिराज नहीं थे पिछले
हाँ,
टेस्ट में।
वो तो है, वो तो that is like given now. Siraj, Bumrah and Siraj will, yeah. I mean, Bumrah is playing. Siraj will come for Mukesh. Yeah.
चलो ओके, सो वन पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंस, रोहन सेइंग जुरेल खेलेंगे, नागराज सेइंग केएस भरत खेलेंगे। देखते हैं कौन सही है। व्यूअर्स आप भी हमें बताइए कमेंट सेक्शन में इन दोनों में से कौन सही था, उसको हम कल उनसे जवाब लेंगे। तो कल शाम 5 बजे डे 1 का एक्शन खत्म होते ही बी श्योर टू जॉइन अस अगेन। थैंक यू सो मच रोहन, नागराज फॉर योर कंपनी। गुड बाय फ्रॉम अस एट FTB लाइव।